All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to another tournament video. We have 4 matchups left. We're going to do 2 of them in this one, and then the next one will be our closing round. As always, the same 3 people. We are going to be debating Super Mario Maker versus Fire Emblem Awakening. It's a battle of modern games, which we haven't had a whole lot of matchups like that. Super Mario Maker is absolutely popular, right? I don't think I need to say that anymore. And it's a game that's had some pretty incredible longevity in terms of the fact that it's still a very popular streaming game. I, for one, am still way into watching Mario Maker videos. And on the other hand, Fire Emblem Awakening comes from a franchise that doesn't make a lot of mistakes, which is pretty impressive. There's very few Fire Emblem Awakening games or Fire Emblem games that are bad. Awakening, it was hard to pick because none of them stand out and none of them are bad. This was the one, though, that I asked Nick and he said was the best, and I agreed was one of my favorites. So it's one we went with. But as a franchise, Fire Emblem is incredible. Mario Maker has such longevity and variety. It'll be interesting to see which one comes out on top. So
that's the only reason why the Wii U is still played today.
Well, oh, absolutely. It's the only thing that gives that system value at this point, I would say.
Yeah.
So
basically.
So when Mario Maker 2 comes out,
before I start talking positively about Awakening and talk about the influence of that, can we just say that Mario Maker is possibly the defining game for the Wii? Ooh, sorry about that. For the Wii U, basically.
Oh, yeah.
It utilized the gamepad the best. It's, again, longevity. It basically it actually was one of, like, the system sellers for the Wii U. Like, before they had Smash Bros. And Mario Kart, but Mario Maker, I would say, is the Wii U game.
I don't think any game used the gamepad better than Mario Maker did. Like, this game was, like, Mario Maker, I feel like, would not have been as popular on a GameCube or Wii system because it would have been tedious making the level. I think the Wii U is perfect. The Switch is good, too, because of the gamepad, obviously, but I think systems like that are just meant for a game like this, and it was a match made in heaven for a system that otherwise failed. So,
and one thing that I do want to also mention about Mario Maker is the creativity that exists out there is something that I never would have expected in a million years. Like, Mario Maker, with the music levels, with, like, the Auto Mario levels, there's so many things in Mario Maker that is still being figured out on, and, like, they're still making levels for, and I'm sure it's going to continue into Mario Maker 2. The creativity that Mario Maker 2 enabled is so damn good, and I think it's one of the things that basically can't be beat.
Right. So, that's fair. Yeah, I would agree. There's a lot of trash levels, but I think that's the charm of the game also. I think you get some incredibly well-crafted levels, so if you're interested in that, just search up some levels and play all of the great, amazing creator levels. And if you want some garbage...
There's one that's literally a calculator. You add 2 numbers. How did they do that?
I don't know. It's incredible. And so there's something for everyone. If you like trolley garbage, that's there. If you like great levels, that's there. If you like automated music levels, there's something for everyone. And if you're a creator yourself that wants to make your own Mario levels, it's so user-friendly. I've never played...
It gives all the tools you need to just jump right in.
I've never played a creation game that was so friendly to the users. It's incredible to me how they were able to pull that off. So.
And then people want to do it, and I think I'm sure there's like fan-made things for Mega Man levels too. But it also spawned I know we talk about the legacy that the games have. It also spawned like people wanting to make a Mega Man level creator and stuff like that. But I mean, Mario Maker I think is a great way to start it and to also continue the legacy in that way. And I think Mario Maker will always be special for that. Right. For that means it's almost unlimited the amount of levels you can make, and they're still making more possibilities with Mario Maker 2.
Right. So we're ready for Fire Emblem Awakening, I think, Nick.
Okay. So, Legacy of Fire Emblem Awakening. It saved the franchise. Fire Emblem has been a pretty consistent game series in terms of what it does well, being a tactical RPG, but they were struggling for a while on trying to bring people in. The reason you didn't see a lot of console Fire Emblem games was because they didn't sell well. Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn did not sell well. Radiant Dawn, everybody wanted to see some online aspect of it. They were like, not happening. So I loved Radiant Dawn. I thought Path of Radiance was always really cool. I think I watched something about Path of Radiance recently. I can't remember. Not the point. But Fire Emblem was struggling. It was very struggling until it got to Awakening. They figured they're going to put all of their eggs in one basket, and they combined a ton of stuff from every Fire Emblem game, basically saying, we're going to throw everything in this one game as like a celebration, so if we're going to go out, we're going to go out in style. And Fire Emblem Awakening is what happened. It had the kid mechanic, I believe, that didn't happen since, I believe, Genealogy of the Holy War, which was a Japanese-only release, and I think that was Fire Emblem 4, I think? 4 or 5. One of them is 3AC776, one of them is Genealogy of the Holy War. But that was a Japan-only game. And Fire Emblem Awakening, from there, revitalized that franchise, brought a ton of new players into the franchise, helped that the 3DS was a big install base, and then also brought up 2 other games for the 3DS based on Fire Emblem Awakening's popularity. It brought on Fire Emblem Fates and Fire Emblem Echo Shadows of Valentia, which was a remake of Gaiden, which was Fire Emblem 2. this game has done so much more to the Fire Emblem series than so many of the other games before. They were struggling trying to find something that people could grasp onto. So I'm just trying to show you like the impact that Fire Emblem Awakening had. They're like, let's give them bigger graphics, a bigger stage to play on, like they showed with like the Lagoos. They made the story more. They were able to bring in like terms of racism and whatnot into the gameplay, and it's just you could see it all happening. They had terrible voice acting in Radiant Dawn. That's not the point. There's just so much they tried until they got it right with Awakening. I would say it's like the quintessential Fire Emblem game that if you want to, I think I already said it, if you want to jump into a Fire Emblem game series, Awakening is a fantastic starting point.
Right.
My arguments against Awakening is that it didn't stand out to me. That's the only thing that's bad about it. I think that's still one of the best ones for people to start, and one of the best Fire Emblem games out there for 3DS. I like Fire Emblem Fates more. I think the combat was perfected in Fire Emblem Fates, and I think that Awakening has too many broken mechanics.
Yeah,
that's just what I feel.
To me, that's the difference, because I've played both of these games as well, and Mario Maker is so embedded into my head. I think it's going to be something on every Nintendo console for the rest of their, franchise and the rest of Nintendo's existence, because it's just so iconic. It was a new idea that was incredible, and it was well crafted. I think it's something that's unforgettable. Fire Emblem Awakening, to me, I enjoyed Radiant Dawn more in terms of the story, and it stuck out with me. I know Nick probably disagrees with that, but
nope, I agree. I think the story's better.
Oh, well,
I think the story's better in Radiant Dawn.
Something we agree on. That's pretty rare.
It's very rare.
But yeah, so I'm the same way. I loved Awakening. I thought it was great, but it was kind of a forgettable experience to me. And that's not a knock on it.
I would say so as well.
But yeah, that's how I feel. So I think we can vote if we're ready.
I would like to say one other thing about it, though.
Go for
the
it.
one thing that I do want to, again, I do really want to stress the impact Fire Emblem Awakening has, because it's also bringing along Fire Emblem Three Houses to Switch now. The one thing that I do want to say that I didn't like as much about it is that, or not as much, one of the things that I liked a ton about Awakening is it came back to the, it had this aesthetic to it that I believe, let me say it like this. It had customization options better than any Fire Emblem game before it. That's what I have to say. Which also brought about the customization options in Fire Emblem Fates, which was amazing as well. But Fates also brought with it, and I hate to say it, the microtransaction bullshit that happened, that you had to pay an extra $40 for the whole entire experience, which is terrible. I loved Fire Emblem Fates. I think it is my favorite Fire Emblem game still, just based on the gameplay alone. My god, it pissed me off that it's starting to basically become a waifu simulator.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Okay, so I was trying to focus on the positives, but this does need to be mentioned here too. As much as I love Fire Emblem Awakening, it took away so much of the focus that I liked about older Fire Emblem games, about like the show don't tell gameplay, and it did. I would argue it was worse than Fates, and it kind of did away with that. Like in Fire Emblem Fates, everybody's telling like, "Oh, I love you so much. You have to choose our side and whatnot." They didn't do a lot of job of showing through the gameplay. Like in Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones, you had, I think, Ephiram with like an army of like 3 soldiers just destroy a whole castle of people, and it's like you show the power that they have by doing that on a map, and it's just like they wreck house. And that's not as much as something that I got from Awakening. Customization is fantastic, but the focus that people started bringing, and people started thinking that it was meant to be a game like that, did frustrate me a lot, because it devalues the more intense gameplay of a tactical RPG, and that's what I want to mention on. And I still like it. I like the fact that Mike already has the vote for it, because I already am voting for Mario Maker, but
yeah.
it's just, it did a lot of good, and it saved the franchise, but some of the ways that I think the franchise is going to make me lose interest over time.
Yeah, I did assume everyone's votes, but the way everything sounded, it sounded like we were all kind of on the same page.
What if I wanted the waifu simulator?
That's true.
Yeah,
I never know
Also,
what
this is the
Travis.
first time I actually talked to this episode, but yeah, Mario.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, Travis will be doing a lot of talking in the next matchup, that's for sure. So
Oh yeah.
I won't be doing as much, so I had to get it all out now. But yeah, Mario Maker is my vote as well.
Yeah, I love Awakening. I think it's a fantastic game. It as much as I hate to say it with Mike, for me it's a forgettable experience. It doesn't stick out to me as other Fire Emblem games. I think Fire Emblem Echo Shadows of Valentia has a way better story, and I rewatch that story all the time because I think it's just that damn good.
So there you go. So Mario Maker advances. This next matchup is a heartbreaker, to say the least. Both of these games deserve to be in the next round, and they won't be. But this is, I think, the closest one we have. Mario Odyssey is the legendary game that just came out. We did an awesome race on it. It's so much fun. And Halo 3 is one of the greatest, if not the best game to ever come out of Microsoft Studios. So it's not fair. These games would have swept any other game, I think, almost, except for a couple. Unfortunately, they got to face off against each other. I know Travis loves both of these games.
I do.
It's going to be a hard one, but we'll see where things fall.
For sure. How do we want to start this off? Because I feel like I'm the probably biggest...
Halo turned to crap afterwards. Mario Odyssey is still good. How about that?
We haven't seen what comes after Odyssey yet.
Yeah, we
That's
have
true,
not
but I'm
seen.
saying we can have blissful ignorance for what happens after Odyssey.
Exactly, but that also shows you how good 3 was versus like what they could have possibly done later. Just because, because it was supposed to be the ending. It was a perfect ending.
It was supposed to be like it was supposed to send off Master Chief.
Master Chief died.
Right? Just kidding, Halo 4. Hee.
Exactly. They found him in space. That's bullshit. No, he was dead. We had a funeral for him. It was an amazing ending. I was satisfied, and then they come out with the garbage. But, you know, whatever. It had really fun music. I always loved going into just the menu and having the, you know, beautiful, just...
Real talk, Halo soundtracks are pretty dope.
They're awesome.
I think that's what I throw my 2 cents in. Honestly, like, Mario Odyssey has a great soundtrack. I think Halo 3 might edge it out, though, in terms of the soundtrack. It's
so
incredible.
Ooh, I don't think I'd go that far.
I think I would. It's hard to beat. It's such
I know, because I do agree, Mario Odyssey has an amazing soundtrack, but like Halo 3 has so, like, it just gets you in the mood in any like situation that you're actually in. Like if it's in a super like climatic, like, wow, look at what's going on, it's super fast and awesome, gets you.
You talking about climatic? You're escaping the freaking moon. That song is, oh my god, so freaking good.
Okay, so that's one song.
Oh, you're talking Seaside Kingdom, Lakeside Kingdom. Oh, you want to keep going, Travis? New Donk City. How about all of the songs for New Donk City for Jump Up Superstar? Oh my god, those are so damn good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Halo 3 has a bad soundtrack. I'm just saying it might. I think Mario Odyssey edges out Halo 3 just slightly.
Well, I don't know. It's true. That's one, but like, yeah, they're both super good. So I mean, we can call them equals in the soundtrack thing, but like. Okay, so then, like, Halo 3 also, it told a really good story. I don't know how many times I've gone through the campaign. Like, I know I've beaten Odyssey twice now, and I 100%ed it one time. But, like, I have played Halo 3 on Legendary with co-op, with solo. Just so much. And it's so fun. And then, like, it's just so good. It's just so good.
Well, I'll say this. Mario, how did... just because we've been talking about the legacy that it has, and I do want to keep judging it on like what the game is, but how did Halo 3, I would say, either revitalize or move forward on the genre that it has? Because Mario Odyssey takes basically, I would argue that 3D platformers aren't nearly as popular nowadays, and it basically revitalized that kind of game. That kind of 3D collectible game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had some of the games that tried to do it. Ukulele tried to do it. A Hat in Time beat its ass, but I would say Mario Odyssey still beat... I haven't played A Hat in Time. I can't judge it on that. I would say Mario Odyssey revitalized that franchise.
Yeah, plus,
Halo 3 was kind of still at the height of the first-person shooter genre. And again, the legacy of Halo 3 is just too good to mention as well. But I'm wondering, how did Halo 3 impact the first-person shooter genre versus how did Mario Odyssey impact the 3D platformer genre?
Well, because I know Call of Duty likes to really copycat things that other shooters do successfully, and then since Halo wasn't a futuristic component, honestly, like, even though Halo is one of my favorite franchises ever, they're the ones that, like, corrupted them, because I'm trying to think of the specific example, because I know Titanfall, which is from the same developers of Halo, is like what started wall running, which obviously Call of Duty implemented terribly. But I'm trying to think for actual... I don't know, because it was mostly about like the campaign that really got you into it, and then being able to play split screen and like still using all of the vehicles that you have, like the Mongoose, the Ghost, the Warthog, Banshee, Hornet, etc., etc. It just brings so much. And then Halo 3 also had, like, it it's not quite as good as the future games, but like they still had like a map maker where you can customize your own maps, and then eventually in the next game, Reach, they were actually able to even be played online with like just in like, hey, I want to play Infection, and like this map seems to be really popular. We'll like put it in an option, and then you can actually vote to actually play it. So it does have replayability and all that stuff, whereas most other shooters don't actually have a build your own map feature.
Yeah, I would say so. I would also say that in terms of just reviews in general, both of these, I was trying to see if I could see if some of the reviews like edged out the other ones. They're both around like 100 on every single list.
No, both of these are like perfection.
Which is just crazy because. How about this? So I would say, if I would have to say my highest highs for Mario Odyssey, I would say the escape. Because again, before I was saying like Mario Odyssey was.
Well, yeah, because that's my highest high for Halo 3 too, is escaping at the very end.
So they both have a great escape sequence. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm saying that if we're going to compare them, compare the highest highs and lowest lows as well. So Mario Odyssey, I would say the coin grinding that I would need to do to collect, that I have to do to like, not collect, complete the game. I would say that was like the lowest low for me, but that's not a necessity. Like, what would you say like are the highs and lows of Halo 3 then? Because you gotta have something that would edge it out.
Yeah, some of the, I'm specifically thinking of one of the flood missions where you have to go down. In single player, it sucks because like if you run out of shotgun ammo, like some of these guys are just almost impossible to actually take down. But if you're playing co-op, the second player guy always gets an energy sword, and then that does tremendously well against it. And then you can also kind of play it off where you can kind of die and get all of your ammo back.
How about difficulty? Mario Odyssey is extremely easy. What about Halo 3?
If you play on Legendary, it's very difficult. If you play on the casual, it's very easy. So it depends on the actual difficulty you set it on, but it does spike.
I'll say a point for Halo, just because I know we need to wrap this up sometime soon. I'll say a point for Halo is usually the fact that the AI is a lot better than a lot of the other shooters. Like I don't remember if this is true for like Halo 3 or whatnot, but I think somebody talking about the original Halo about how if you threw like a grenade, like they wouldn't just like take the grenade, like they might like throw it back.
Yeah,
at you
they'll roll away and they'll even like yell it.
That's
awesome.
So stuff like that means that like the AI for Halo 3 is just a lot better than. If you're going for, I guess, a more difficult experience, I would say go Halo 3 over Odyssey. Odyssey, I would say, is a more of a charming game that is meant to be more fun, if anything.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely.
I don't think Halo 3. I mean, Halo 3 is still meant to be enjoyable. I don't think it tries to go for that kind of whimsicality that Mario Odyssey does.
Well, is it voting time?
I guess. I don't even think I made any headway. I'm voting Odyssey. I'm sure Travis is voting for Halo 3. What do you... Oh, wait, actually, I don't know. Travis, go ahead.
Yeah, it's voting Halo 3. It's one of my top 5 games, but Odyssey is also like, it's right there. This sucks.
Yeah, this is going to kill me because both of these games deserve to go on, but when I look at the two, I just think which one's more well-rounded and which one provided a better like experience all the way through in terms of interacting with other people, in terms of the story, and it's totally unfair, but I gotta give it a Halo 3. Like, some of the best
I can
memories,
understand that.
Yeah, some of the best memories are online, and some of the maps there, like, it's just not fair. Odyssey, and it's not because Odyssey hasn't had time to really develop a historical legacy. It's a great game, and it will have one, undoubtedly, but Halo 3 has established that, so I think being an older game that matches up, it isn't fair, but not much you can do.
That's the bracket.
Yep, so Halo 3 is moving on, 2-1.
2-1, baby. Alright. I think that does it for this episode.
Who saw that coming?